Because when it's spring, it's still like the leaves are coming out. You hear the birds chirping again.
Montreal even gets to -40, guys.
Everyone's going through the same thing. I'm not alone in this.
But I feel like the sun is a lot harsher on us as compared to other parts of the world.
Bring on the heat. Let's get tanned. You know what they say? Desperate times call for.
Layering up for sunshine, snow, and rain all in 1 week.
1 minute it's 20 degrees and the next it's flurries.
The weather out there is more unpredictable than our sleep schedules.
If you've been there or you're there, this one's for you.
This is Desperate Times. Hey guys, welcome back to Desperate Times podcast. I'm Varun.
And I'm Sakshi.
And this week we're going to be diving into one of the most talked about small talk topics in Canada and one of the most concerning topics for most people moving to Canada, the weather. The weather in Canada is known to be extremely bipolar in its own ways, not referring to the mental health condition here at all, but it's known to go from one extreme to another, and there are a lot of factors that come into play when you move into Canada and adjust to the weather and start acclimatizing to it. Sakshi, was there any factor for you that was the most difficult part to acclimatize for, and how did you really go about it?
More than the climate, and this is actually something that affects the climate, the daylight savings, the time.
Oh
Like
yeah.
in summer, how we have 13 hours, 14 hours of daylight, but at the same time, in
Mm-hmm.
the winter, we have what, 6 hours, 7 hours of daylight. So it's not
Yeah.
directly related to the climate, but it affects the temperature a lot. So that was something which was like my brain still is adjusting to that, because I'm like, wait, it was 7 p.m. No, it's 10 p.m., but it doesn't look like.
No,
So it's a whole
for
thing.
sure. For sure. I feel like even right now, for me on a daily basis, since we're heading towards summer and now we've
Mm-hmm.
switched to the part where the days are much longer, the sun is rising at 5:30, and every day I
Yeah.
just like my body's auto clock wakes up, I open my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
look outside my window, and I'm like, wait, should I be waking up right now? Is it day already? And
Yeah.
then I just realized that wait, it's only 5:30 a.m. I have at least 2 more hours of sleep to get in if I
Yep.
want.
And at the same time, when the sun is setting at 9:30, and then it's time to sleep at 10:30, like 11 or whatever. At least I sleep at 11. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, wasn't it just like light outside? But I'm sleeping 1 hour, 1.5 hour later. Like it's just not working in my brain. It's difficult to put
Yep.
yourself to sleep when it's like light outside and you have to go to sleep. And I mean, people do it. People have 24 hours of daylight and 24 hours of sun. But
Yep.
as people who are not used to this, this was something that was difficult to adjust to, I want to say.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I remember, I think even the first time when the clock had switched from daylight savings, I
Oh my
distinctly
god.
remember this incident for me because I had no idea of this whole occurrence. I knew what daylight savings is, but my brain didn't put two and two together of
Mm.
how it's gonna really play out. So I had class that week at like maybe 6 or 7 in the evening. So I came back home from one class around after lunch, and I was like, okay, now's the time to take a nap if I want, and I'll just wake up and I'll go back to
No.
class. And I took a nap at around 3 o'clock, and I woke up at like 4:30 or 5, and it was suddenly dark outside.
Oh wow.
And I was like, wait, what is going on? Where am I? I just completely
Like,
lost
is
all
it
sense
8
of
a.m. or is
time.
it 4 a.m. in the morning? Like,
I just completely lost all sense of understanding of anything possible, where I am, what I'm doing. It was just very confusing to wake up to complete darkness at 4:30 for the
gosh.
first time,
Yeah,
not realizing it. So I
that's
think
tough.
that's definitely something that people coming to the country, apart from weather, should keep in mind if you're coming for here for long term, that the switch happens, it's sudden, and
Yeah,
it does immediately affect your body clock.
definitely. And like the other thing is the climate, of course, like adds, it's like a cherry on the top of the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Because this affects you on a daily basis, but the climate is a more long term thing. But
Yep.
again, like we're in spring right now, but we have freezing rain outside. Just to give you all some
Yeah,
context, it's the middle of
even for me
May.
right now.
We supposed to have nice sun temperature, but we have freezing rain. It's cold, and I had to go out yesterday. My umbrella, no use. It was upside down and I was drenched. My socks were wet, my shoes were wet. I was in a winter jacket because it was that cold. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, how is this the middle of May? Why am I in a winter jacket?
Yeah, things just don't make sense. And I feel like that's one big part of when you move to Canada, you kind of have to realize that two things. One, the weather app has to become your best friend. I check it more than I ever have in
Mm-hmm.
my entire life.
Yep.
And two, you always have to be prepared for all kinds of weather. You always have to have an umbrella in your bag, always have a winter jacket on you,
Yeah.
always have an extra hoodie on you in case it's just a little cold but not too
Mm.
cold. It's just a whole lot of planning that goes on here before even stepping out.
For sure. And it's also an emotional crutch, the weather app, because
Yep,
talking about the climate, talking about the weather is how we feel like, okay, everyone's going through the same thing. I'm not alone in this. And we just keep each other, motivated. Like, okay, yeah, we'll get through it. It's fine. It's gonna, it's gonna be summer soon. And that's the only
yep,
thing. You'll hear that from everyone. Oh, summer in these many months, summer in that many days. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Everyone's always counting down to it.
30 days to go.
Let's go. I mean, by the time this episode comes out, probably 15 or
Of
six,
course.
less than that. I don't know.
Yeah. But
But
as of today,
yeah,
it's
we're getting
30
there.
days to go.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But I remember for me when we just moved here, and last episode we spoke about how it was pretty warm outside
Mm-hmm.
still when we got here back in September, and there's like a little bit of heat wave every now and then that
Yeah.
comes in. But one thing that I had to do to kind of acclimatize myself to the cold, and I feel like this is something every time I speak to someone and they ask me about how you went about it and how did you kind of adjust to the drastic weather change that comes with winter. My roommates and I just went for a walk every single night after
Mm.
dinner, which then slowly kind of helped us adjust to the temperature drop that was coming, which eventually Montreal even gets to -40, guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad out here. So acclimatizing to it is a slow process for sure, but it's not as hard as I feel like what most people make it to seem. At least it wasn't so for me. What about you, Sakshi? Did you feel like the
No,
preparation for winter was a lot?
honestly not because we have heating in our houses, right? So it's not like we're
Yep.
freezing inside. Inside, you could be wearing like shorts and sleeveless tops, and it's fine because we have heating in the houses. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
was good where in India, like we don't have heating in a lot of places. And also, first
Yeah.
winter, it was also my first time seeing fresh snow. So I was more
Yeah, same.
excited than, oh my God, how am I gonna survive this winter? It was more excitement. And there's so many Christmas
Absolutely.
activities around that time. So I tried
So
to
many.
do a lot of things. And that's key when you have winter or fall. Like all these festivals, they come with their things. Like there's fall has you go to see fall foliage or you go to see pumpkin harvest. Spring has
Mm-hmm.
apples, flowers. Winter you have all these maple taffy activities or ice skating, and so you have to actually get involved in those activities. And I feel like that's why winter was not as harsh as I thought it would be. And layering, like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think a lot of people understand the importance of it, and I didn't either because I just had this one thick jacket. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to layer. But when the temperatures fluctuate, which is very common, layering is key
Mm-hmm.
because then you're like, okay, yeah, I can keep this on or take it off. And scarves, I think I'm such a scarf person now. Like I will not leave my house without a
Mm-hmm.
scarf if it's very windy because you're and I particularly clench my jaw, I clench my shoulders when it's too cold, and you won't
Yeah,
even realize
I
it.
get it.
Like it's your body's naturally, you just go like that.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So then everything becomes tense. It's just better to. So I love wearing a scarf in the winter. And it's more about think of it from winter fashion perspective, where you could never wear these. At least I could never imagine a winter wardrobe in Mumbai. So here it's
Yeah,
like I can wear all these nice sweaters and get all these scarves, get cute beanies. So think of it as a positive way of styling and just exploring things.
absolutely. And the first part that you spoke about, I couldn't agree more that there's only one way to go about winter out here, even though it gets really cold, is to just make yourself have the most of it. Like you have to get out there, start enjoying the
Mm-hmm.
winter sports as options that you have over here. Go ice skating, go snowboarding if you can. I haven't learned snowboarding, so I can't personally
Tobogganing,
recommend it.
I would
You can
highly
go
recommend.
tobogganing. For sure. So you have to kind of get yourself into everything that the winter has to offer and not just get yourself in your own space, not socialize, not get out of home at all. Because when people talk about seasonal depression and how
It's
real
real.
it is,
Yeah.
I don't I in no way do I want to say that it's something that doesn't happen. It does. For a lot of people it is a
Mm-hmm.
reality every winter. But if only you get yourself into the country with the mindset that you're going to enjoy winter and make the most of it with all of what Canada has to offer for you in terms of winter sports, it's not that bad to overcome. At
Mm-hmm.
least personally, I didn't really face any seasonal depression from winter at all because I knew that I had made myself a good friend circle to get out and enjoy these activities socially with. So it was pretty smooth sailing for me to get through my first winter.
In fact, while we're talking about these winter activities, I know some people that actually look forward to winter because they get to go skiing and snowboarding.
I'm one
And
of them.
I mean, I don't know how to ski or snowboard, but I want to explore. Like, I have snow pants which I used for tobogganing but not yet for skiing. But yeah, people literally look forward to the winter because then you can snowboard, you can ski. And last year, actually, when we didn't have much of a winter, all these winter sports people, they were very dejected that they didn't get to enjoy it. So while I mean, I would say I'm a summer person because while I enjoy the beaches and the water, these people enjoy the snow and the mountains. So I mean, you'll always have the different people enjoying different things, right?
For sure. I feel like even though I have not seen, as we discussed already, I've not really seen, had not really seen snow before I moved here at all. I had my first experience of any real snowfall out here. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not counting any, when I say real snowfall, I'm not counting any of those theme parks that have any
No
snowboards.
way.
Does not count. But
No.
as someone who moved here and experienced harsh winters for the first
Mm.
time, just quickly adapting and starting to enjoy those outdoor activities just massively helped in
Oh
a lot of
yeah,
ways.
yeah. In fact, we had a lot of snowstorms this time in Toronto, and one of them, I was like, okay, you know what? It had just started snowing, so it hasn't settled yet. You can still walk around, and when it's snowing, if it's not too windy, it's actually nice. It's pleasant compared to like the
True.
other days when there's wind chill and it's colder. So I would actually love going on walks when it's snowing and it hasn't settled yet, and I
Mm-hmm.
did that so many times, and there would be no one on the streets because everyone's just like indoors and they don't want to
Yeah.
be out. But once I came back at night, like there's a parking lot in front of our place. I saw this.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a couple or just two people? I don't know. But there were these two people who were playing in the parking lot because the snow had, piled up. There was like a feet or so of snow, and they were playing
Yeah.
with the snow because it's fresh snow again, making snow angels.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at them from the balcony, and it's just so wholesome to look at. So
It
yes,
is.
there are ways to enjoy winter, and it does look like a fairy land sort of thing when it's not that bad.
Yeah. I mean, you rightly said, fresh snow is always super fun to just walk around, and it doesn't really inconvenience you in any way. But
Mm-hmm.
what is really scary is when it's not fresh snow, when it piles
Mm.
up to a point of creating black ice.
Oh gosh.
This is something that I learned only when I moved to Canada. I had no idea what black ice was, obviously because I lived in a city that
Mm-hmm.
was over 30 degrees all year round, pretty much. So seeing what black ice was, understanding it was just the concept of it was risky. And there have been times when I've walked through a park and like there was just a lot of black ice around there, and just even slightly stepping on it would make me slip.
Oh no. Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's dangerous.
I had to really like walk around the black ice, like not exactly tiptoeing, but like just being a little more heavy footed in some ways and making
Mm.
sure that I don't fall.
Stomping.
Yeah, kind of stomping. I'm aware of
Yeah.
some people who even buy these winter boots that actually have sort of nails. I wouldn't say nails under them, but it's sort of spiky in
Spikes.
a way that
Yeah.
they can,
Yeah.
yeah, they can just like cut through the black ice, and that's a lot
Mm-hmm.
safer to navigate those situations around
Yeah,
that.
because with black eyes, like your winter boots, they have grip on them, but then it will just slip on black eyes. And that actually happened with me this year because we had so much we have days where it was minus something and it would snow, but then we had sun, so it would instantly freeze over. Like it was a whole thing. Like we're talking mood swings, right? We have sun, we have the snow, and then it's freezing.
Yep,
It's a whole thing, and that's how black ice is formed essentially.
exactly.
So that was happening a lot, and you can't even see it. That's the thing, it's called black ice because when it falls on the roads, it looks black. It's transparent, right? So it
Yeah,
looks
it just looks
black.
like a puddle of water.
Yeah, you can't even see it. It'll just look like it's shiny or something, but on the sidewalks it's worse because
Yep.
it's the same color as what the sidewalk is. You can't see it. So I was like literally looking down and walking. I'm just like navigating around, and there were patches. It's not completely black ice, but there's a patch which is fine. Then there's a patch with black ice. So it's almost like hopscotch at that point.
How many falls have you had on black
None
ice?
actually. Like luckily with
Oh, none.
from black ice, I've had none because again Toronto does not get as much snow or cold, but this year
Uh,
we did. Um, and but I was navigating my way through it, so it was fine. And I have
I've
good
definitely
boots, I
fallen
wanna
at
say.
least twice.
Oh shit! I hope
Uh,
it wasn't that bad.
One time it was, I kind of scraped my knees a little bit,
Oof,
but
that's
I
bad.
think the other time I was fine.
Okay, learning. We're learning.
For sure. For sure. But as you said, all that we wait for like 6 months of the year is summer. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously there's spring, there's fall, and we can talk about those as well. But what about summer? What are your favorite things to do through summer?
Favorite things to do in the summer? A lot of beach time. Like I'm a beach baby, I
Mm-hmm.
wanna say. So a lot of beach time. Um, being in the water. Hopefully the lake warms up this time. Last year, even though it was warm, for some reason the water wasn't. So I don't think I really
Mm.
went in the water last year. So that was disappointing. But I mean, I still can't say though, with this freezing rain, who's to say how long the lake is going to take to warm up now? So I'm not so sure
This
about this year either.
the speedboats were definitely fun though. The ones that y'all would rent out.
Yeah, that was just last year. We did boating a little bit. That was fun, and that's the reason. Like we knew the water is cold because we tried going like diving and stuff from the boat, but the water was so cold that we couldn't. But at least the boats were there. Paddle boarding. I love paddle boarding. I want to try kayaking this summer,
It's
similar to
fun.
paddle boarding. Um, what else do we have? I know people
Kayaking is
do
definitely a lot of
fishing.
fun.
Yeah, kayaking and paddleboarding are similar. I mean, imagine
Yeah, yeah.
paddleboard is just flat and then kayak is like shaped like a boat or a canoe or, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I know a lot of people go fishing during the summer as well. Haven't tried that
Oh.
myself, but pretty popular. And hiking in the summer, I don't know. You could
Oh, for sure.
maybe.
There's so many great
Yeah,
hikes in the summer. Like I
yeah.
think, not just summer. I think I had taken this one particular hike in fall where we went to where was it? It was just
Mont
I think
Blanc.
45 minute. It was Mont Tremblant. You got that right. Yeah.
Mm.
So I think we took that hike up Mont Tremblant in fall. It was still pretty good temperatures of like upwards of 20, and it was a super long hike, but a super fun hike to
Yeah,
take up there.
fall hikes I think are the best. Spring and fall, just because the temperatures are still warm and pleasant, and then when you're hiking, you get warmer anyway, so you don't feel like it's that cold kind of thing. So I feel like fall and spring hikes are the best because when it's spring, it's still like the leaves are coming out. You start the birds,
Yep.
you hear the birds chirping again, and that's always lovely for me because winter everyone hibernates, right? And then when it's
Mm-hmm.
spring, you start seeing like ladybugs, and then you start hearing birds. And I'm just more appreciative every time that happens, you know? Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's
For
spring
sure.
again. And like right now, I can hear a bird in your background. I think that birds, they're in all our
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah. I have a tree right outside my window, so there's always these tiny sparrows chirping for
Yeah,
the mic that picks it up. I
so
think last
cute.
episode also in my audio
Yep,
you had
yep,
some chirps that were
yeah.
going
And
around.
I'm like, yeah, it's nice springtime. It's good. So y'all can
Hmm.
enjoy the birds too.
But spring, even though, and more not even though, but more like because it comes right after winter, one thing that I hate about it is that we have so many false springs. The number of
Oh
fake
gosh.
outs that we get before spring. Like there are popular memes out there every year that float
Mm-hmm,
around that
mm-hmm.
show you that it's going to be winter, fall, spring, spring, fall, spring,
All
summer,
the
fall,
time.
spring, and then spring again.
We're technically in spring right now, but I want to say it's given us fall spring because we have freezing rain for like what 3 days. Not
Yep.
normal. Apparently, this is some record from 1967 that we've broken. That this is the coldest day in May in Toronto.
This is
So
the
great.
this seems to be the year of records. I mean, even Montreal
Yep.
got its worst snowstorm in winter that I
So
luckily
did
evaded.
we. So did we. Yeah.
But yeah, and there were people who had spoken to like neighbors who've been around for in Montreal for more than 30 years, 40 years or
Mm-hmm.
so, and they were like the only time they remember it ever being this harsh was like probably when they were toddlers.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a similar storm this time around, and it was bad. Like, luckily, you weren't here to face it,
Mm-hmm.
but global warming and all that stuff this is what is going to happen. They're saying we're going to have a record breaking summer. I hope so, because
Record
I'd
breaking in
rather
what way?
the
The cold
temperatures
way,
are
the
going to
warm
be
way?
really high. is what they're saying. So
Mm.
I'm hoping, I'm like, yeah, bring on the heat. Let's get tanned because by winter it'll be gone.
That is true. And talking about like record breaking summers, one thing I'm glad about is that last year I finally, for some reason, I don't know why I procrastinated this so much, but not all apartments have ACs in
Mm.
Canada, and mine was one of those that did not have an AC. It was just us relying on fans. And I decided to just like go on Marketplace and just get myself a second-hand AC that can just be installed in my window. Best decision I've ever made because it got me through last summer.
Oh yeah. And last summer in
The,
Montreal was hot, right? Like Toronto not so much, but Montreal
It
was
was
hot.
it was bad, and the experience that I bought it like the experience that I had the summer before that was because of like a massive heat wave that we got.
Mm.
Temperatures went almost upwards of like touching feels like 40 degrees.
Oh wow.
And in that temperature, I remember I had gone out with my roommate. We just wanted to like go 2 blocks away for lunch and come back home. I
Mm-hmm.
had to take a shower before I left. I had to take a shower after I
After,
came
yeah,
back because I
that
did
checks
not have
out.
an AC, and there's no way
Yeah,
I could sit without an AC. So
yeah,
if this is for like a pro tip for anyone who's moving to Canada, if you're moving into an apartment that does not have an AC, please check your leases and see if there is any rules around you installing an AC in there. And if you can install an AC, go for it. It's completely worth it. You're not going to regret that decision at all.
yeah, for sure. Those 3 months of AC are worth it. And sometimes, even like in March, like this time around in March, we had this one wave of fall spring, where it got really
Mm-hmm.
hot, and like those times too, the AC comes in handy. Even in fall, like you have these bouts of heat wave, for a week
Mm-hmm.
here and there, and gets really hot. And it's that fluctuation of climate that actually makes people fall sick more often than not. Because like
Mm-hmm.
one day you're at -20, the other day you're sitting at +10. That's a 30-degree difference.
Yeah, that's going to be
So,
us probably even as we're filming this week. I think
yep,
your temperatures have dipped down to almost zero,
zero.
and my
Yes.
temperatures are going up to positive 25 next week.
We are
So,
currently feels like -2, 3, I think, and then we're going to 20 next week. So, yeah, brilliant.
yeah, negative temperatures are not fun around this time of the year. But I feel like for me,
No.
and as you meant, just generally touched on layering.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from just layering, I think like if you're coming to Canada just as a tourist, even for like 2 to 3 weeks, and you feel like it's going to be harsh in terms of the temperature and you're not going to be able to face it. Personally, what I always tell everyone is one good winter jacket and
Is
you're
all you need.
sorted.
Yeah. And
It's
good
it's it's
gloves.
really all you need. Yeah, gloves of course. Yeah, no, cannot do
Mm-hmm.
without gloves. But
Good
like
gloves, waterproof ones.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of people always like vouch for you going and buying thermals, and I know thermals at Uniqlo specifically are the good
Yep.
stuff that you get
Yep.
out there at affordable prices. But even though I bought those, I personally never found myself using them
Oh,
because I felt like for me, my winter jacket was plenty. I didn't really ever
I
need anything.
I wear thermals on my feet, like legs, because my
Mm-hmm.
jacket, even though it's like till my thighs, you still feel cold. So I just use thermals for my lower body. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but never used it for the top because you have your jacket, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So with that in mind, I don't really think it's particularly necessary
It's a
to
preference
purchase
at the
yourself.
end. Yeah.
It's a preference. It's a preference. So if anyone is out there really vouching for it, saying that you must get thermals before moving to Canada, first of all, just come here and buy your thermals. Don't buy your thermals in India. It's not
Mm-hmm.
necessary. You might as well get the good quality stuff that's made for the weather out here specifically.
It's not even about the good quality stuff. I feel like the stuff that you get back home in India is meant for the temperatures and the weather there, and it works perfectly
Exactly.
fine there. But then when you come to Canada, like Toronto doesn't even get that cold compared to like some of the cities like Alberta or Calgary. Like they get really cold. So I mean, it's just better to buy the winter stuff here because these things, like Varun
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, are made for surviving that
We keep finding ourselves going back to the winter
winter.
because there's just so much of it for us to talk about, and it's the
Yeah.
longest season of the year. Technically, we face almost 6 to 8
Mm-hmm.
months of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Montreal, Toronto, whatever city you're in, it has its pretty times as
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like
definitely.
for Toronto, I feel like the would you say spring is the prettier time, or would you say it's fall?
Mm, I can't decide because I mean I choose summer, and then maybe spring and fall can fight for the second place.
I think for me, it's definitely fall that I would say is
I
the
thought
prettier
so.
time. I feel like for you guys in Toronto, you have like a lot of good trees around. I think y'all have what The cherry blossoms also out
Oh
there.
yes, yes. A lot of places have cherry blossoms here. So spring is, and then tulip farms. We have a lot of tulip farms around Toronto.
So for us, we don't have as much of cherry blossom. So I would rank that as my third favorite
Mm,
season, possibly after summer and fall.
fall.
But I would say fall is a strong second for me.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean Toronto fall. There are a lot of places like the spring places transform into fall foliage wonderlands, and we actually went on this fall hike last year, a little outside the city, and the trees were so tall. It's like tall trees, and the colors are
Mm-hmm.
so pretty, and there's like valleys and mountains, and in Toronto too, like in the city itself, we have a lot of valleys and like the hills and stuff. So it honestly boggles my mind. I'm like, how is this city like have a beach, have a lake, but also have valleys and parks, and where there are turtles, like we have turtles in our parks and stuff. We have swans, we have
Mm-hmm.
ducks. It's crazy.
And for fall, I guess you'll have a lot of great biking trails as well. Like I've personally seen slightly more on the outskirts moving towards Oakville. There's
Yeah.
some great biking trails and some really pretty trees to see in the fall as they shed.
Yeah, yeah. Like Toronto as a city, also we have it, yes. But the minute you go a little bit outside, there's more trees, so it's nicer. So while we're here in Toronto and Montreal with like freezing weathers and getting rain and stuff in spring, Winnipeg, which is a city in Manitoba, actually had a very record-breaking hot day. 35 degrees
Mm-hmm.
Celsius is what I saw, and it was hotter than some of the cities in Saudi Arabia, is what that thing
Damn.
said. So this is like the mood swings that we're talking about, where in one
Mm-hmm.
city, one state can be completely different, and then the other one is freezing. And
Mm-hmm.
I think majorly it's affected by the lakes, like they're called the Great Lakes, the five lakes. I'm sure a lot of people must have studied about them in school. They
Mm-hmm.
affect the temperature around at least the Ontario, Michigan, Ohio, like all of the surrounding states so much that Chicago, which is lower than Toronto in terms of like the elevation or how it's placed, is
Mm-hmm.
always colder than Toronto because they get like the cold wind and the snow and ice and everything.
Overall, I feel like people always think about the harshness of winter, but one thing they don't think about is how hot summer gets
Oh
as
yeah.
well. And I feel like that's extremely underrated as a topic of discussion when it comes to the seasons in Canada.
Well, while you need to have all the layers and stuff for winter, for summer you always need to have a water bottle or some kind of hydration source with you when you're outside.
Mm-hmm.
Always have sunscreen. Like I will not leave without sunscreen because the sun is more direct, more harsh. You
Mm-hmm.
will get pigmentation, forget tanning. Third, I want to say good pair of shoes or sandals or whatever so that you walk around,
Mm-hmm.
because in Toronto at least in the summer walking is quicker than the TTC, or maybe the same, so I'd rather walk.
Fair, fair. I
And
feel like out here people just prefer to walk because it's so
mm-mm,
nice outside that you don't want
yeah,
to get indoors at any point in time. But that I am aware of how messed up the whole situation for TTC there is.
here like every street is dug up, so I don't need to say anything more. I mean, Toronto people comment, tell me what is happening. But other than that, like maybe like a cap or something to just keep your head covered, because the heat when it hits your head directly,
True,
you can get a headache, and I've had those. And sunglasses, of course,
true.
you need sunglasses.
And anyone who tells you that 24, 25 degrees is not that hot,
It
trust me, when you
is.
come to North America, it's much hotter
It
than it feels like
is.
in any other part of the world. Because I feel like, and again, I don't know the scientific reasons for it, but I feel like the sun is a lot harsher on us as compared to other parts of the world when they receive the summer.
So it's a
Is that right?
latitude longitude thing, like the sun's rays hit more directly. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like a lot. Yeah, it's a latitude longitude thing. That's why we feel so 24 feels like 28, and it feels even
Yep.
hotter.
Yeah, the humidity kills quite a bit.
I love the humidity though, honestly. I know people
Personally,
don't
not
like
a
it.
fan.
Yeah,
Not a fan at all.
we should do a poll. Humidity, no humidity. But honestly, I feel like these conversations about the seasons in Canada can go on for so long. I mean, it would be
Mm-hmm.
hard for us to stop. But before that, like, share, subscribe, follow. I mean, on whatever platform you guys are on, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers, which we're inching towards. So we'd really appreciate your
Let's
support.
go.
Yeah. And Yeah, we can keep going on about this, but we will see y'all next week with another topic. Bye.
Bye.